Hello everybody, it's 7 o'clock. Shall we start the meeting?
Let's start it.
Lovely, so I'll call the meeting to order. We start with the request to remove items from the consent agenda, and I was so excited not to remove anything this time, but I have to, alas. I'm gonna suggest we remove 9D, which are the minutes of the building and grounds, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to remove?
Nothing for me.
Okay, wonderful. So a motion to approve the order of items for the regular and consent agendas?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Okay, so the president's verbal report. So I would like to start with the comments, which are so nice that you guys consolidate those for us. Thank you very much. There's two of them I wanted to call out. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at it, but on what they sent us, there's one that I'll just read aloud. Lots of woke children's books, more with animals, creative stories, and imagination. So if you didn't see that one, you know, that one gives me a little bit of pause. Obviously, we are not the arbiters of wokeness, and but we all just need to be mindful of the constituency that we live in and be careful to address people's concerns. And I think you might have some comments on this person.
Well, this person has made several written comments. I recognize the handwriting over the years. There's no contact information and no way for us to follow up with that person, so.
We are where we are, but yeah.
I couldn't tell if it was a compliment.
It was very
Or not.
unclear.
Yeah.
So
And I had to read it twice because it almost looked like an A, so I thought it was wake, and I was like, then I figured it out.
but not everybody thinks that woke is a bad word, and so
Right.
maybe this is a compliment.
That could be. The other one I was really pleased to see was on page 8. I'm just gonna read this if I may. I wasn't particularly overjoyed when I saw that big fat property tax check, but I became giddy and ecstatic when I was reminded of my tax dollars are used for the library, which I literally celebrate and consider myself so lucky and so blessed.
Yeah.
So we've talked about that. It's not, I think people, now that they're breaking out by line item, which is going to the library, here's somebody who was really excited about it, so I thought that was great. The only other comment I have is the new agenda. You saw that we're gonna have the budget every time now, which I think is a good addition, hopefully to streamline the meeting, albeit, except for me, on those minutes. And then last, the budget, I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at that, but I think the management team did a fantastic job with our budget this year. The top line we don't really control, but we control the bottom line, and we did a phenomenal job of expense control.
I agree.
Thank you.
I think it's your turn.
All right. Well, thanks for that. We worked really hard to do that, to control those expenses. Well, my first item of business on my verbal report is to introduce Kathy Vokoshevich. She is our new finance coordinator. Oh, you get a round of applause.
Carrie, you did it again, you pronounced it perfectly.
I've been practicing really hard
Will you say
how to say it.
it one more time?
She has to say it phonetically.
Vokoshevich, and phonetically, wo, shave, each.
Shave each.
All together now. It's
Thank
really
you.
great to be here.
I
Thank you for
did practice. Okay, good. And we call you Kathy.
Kathy W, because we have about 5 Kathys
That
around
worked
here,
so
yeah.
well.
Kathy, Catherine.
So Kathy's
Welcome.
first day was March 31st, and she's been learning all aspects of her new job and learning all about the library, and just picking stuff up and untangling knots, and it's been great.
Solving mysteries and loving it.
Yes,
Great.
yeah,
I like the loving it part.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
So
All right.
can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure, so I am old Borders, like Sarah. I spent 8 years working for Borders, and while I was there I was an operations manager, so that gave me my first bit of experience with money and books. After they went out of business, I moved to a small financial company where I did administration for some financial planners. After that, I moved over to Oakland University, where I've been for the last 10 years. 3 of those years were spent at Kresge Library in acquisitions, and the last 3.5, almost 4 years, I was a business manager for the iResearch Institute. But I don't care about vision research, so I'm here to use those skills in a library, and again, so happy to be here.
Oh,
Our
Yeah,
game,
we're so
for
happy to have
sure.
you here.
well,
Great, thank you.
I'm happiest of all. Truly. And Erin Brzezinski of Plant Moran has been still coming in 1 to 2 days a week and training Kathy on the things that I can't train her on. And Erin is going to stick around through the audit preparation, I should say. That has been moved out a little bit. I think that I mentioned this when I sent out the engagement letter, but just to remind you, that is coming up mid-June. We'll be doing the field work. And like I said, Erin will stick around to help Kathy and I get through that. And then the audit will be presented to you in September, so we're bumping that out a little bit. But that feels very good. If we had to be doing audit stuff next week or the week after, it wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
So that's good. I wanted to let you know that the new surveillance cameras are all up and running and we've been using them. I think I've talked about this to you before, but I can't remember, so I wanted to make sure I went through this. But some staff, including me and Catherine, and all of IT and Tom, we all have access to it. We have an app on our phone we can use for after hours when the burglar alarm goes off. We can look and see what's happening. We've learned a little bit about how to use the software that manages it. We've had one session of training with Motorola, which is the company that makes it, or trains us on it, and we have some more to come. We have some decisions to make about some admin settings and what users will get what access, but I've already shared some footage with Bloomfield Township detective regarding an incident that occurred in the library, so it's already coming in super handy.
They were very impressed.
I'm sorry?
I bet they were very impressed.
They were. He was like, I never get the
Professional.
footage. Yeah.
Nice.
Is there an occasion when the alarm would go off where Tom would not have to come in because of the cameras?
Yeah, if an alarm goes off, usually if an alarm goes off in the middle of the building, it's probably a mouse or something else. If a door was breached and then there was a whole bunch of alarms, that might be a break-in, but yeah, it's probably a squirrel. So
Sure.
it's nice to be able to look in the building and you can kind of look around and see like, okay, nothing's happening.
Very good.
Our plan right now is to give view-only access to the persons in charge group, as they might need to review footage to see about an incident that's been reported. They will not be able to capture that footage and share it with law enforcement, just review. And we would not just let a patron view the footage or have access to it without going through law enforcement and going through proper channels. So if somebody walked in at 8 o'clock and said, bless you, my kid's laptop was stolen, I wanna look at your security camera footage, we would not allow that. So, I'm excited about that. I was a guest on the Distracted Librarians podcast. We did a recording last week. I can't remember when the episode is going to drop in the next week or so. But they wanted to talk about MELCAT and the potential loss of funding with the IMLS funding that may be cut. So we had a nice chat about MELCAT and all the awesome ways that it helps this library and other libraries. And it was super fun, so look out for that. And then one more thing to mention is that TLN has made these small wallet-sized cards called red cards available to libraries. These detail immigrants' rights, and they come in a variety of languages. They're English on one side and then different languages on the other. We had the choice of 2 languages, so we chose Chinese and Arabic, as that seems to be the folks who we have in the library the most frequently. So we're not handing these out, we're not like putting them in the display rack or anything. These are to answer reference questions. If somebody were to say, what do I do if law enforcement comes to my house or asks a question about it, we have these to give to them. So I can pass those around if you wanna take a gander. And that's my report.
Wonderful, thank you. So that takes us to the budget, which again now is a regular recurring meeting. Do you have any comments on the items?
Well, I think you, Shane, had wanted me to call out a couple of recurring vendors, just to clarify who and what they are.
On 5A or 5B?
On page 4, which is 6A.
That was my joke, but
Funny. Thank you.
Let's see. Martha McGee is our volunteer coordinator. She purchases the pottery that's in the library shop, and she purchases it with her own money, and then we reimburse her. So that's why this is listed here several times. Also, she makes the volunteer reception, which just happened. Was that last week? Yesterday? It seems like it was just yesterday. What were some of the other ones you had changed? C2AE is the firm, the architecture firm that is doing our redesign project. So that's.
So, and how is the billing on that work?
They sent me a payment schedule where they charge us a certain percentage each month. Off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's been very clearly delineated for us. And they do it like as they accomplish the work.
Deliverables, attached deliverables.
Yeah. Rolls Mechanical is the company that maintains our HVAC. We also use them for plumbing and electrical, but the majority of this work was HVAC work. Our boilers went down in February. 2 boilers were down. We have 3 boilers, 2 were down. And so Jeff Butler, the person from Rolls, spent many hours working on those, and parts had to be ordered. So that's why that was a big one. Applied Innovation is the company that services our photocopy machines.
Okay.
Augie's is our cleaning.
And was there an issue, because I see there's 3 of them, it's like $5,000 all total. Did they break, or is this part of our routine maintenance?
It's part of the routine maintenance, and I think it was just the timing of those bills. Because we had an extra week in this cycle. Augie's is the building maintenance company that does the cleaning at night.
Oh, okay.
And TechLogic, that was a big bill too, $22,000. TechLogic is the company that manages our the automatic materials handler where you return the books.
My favorite machine.
Yeah.
And is that an annual payment, or
Yeah.
did it break?
No, that's a service payment or service maintenance agreement.
And if it breaks, they fix it for free then? Which, unless anybody has any questions on A,
I don't know if it's on A or not. It's about Recollect.
That's on that one, yes.
It looks like we're doing a 50% for the subscription and a 50% for implementation.
Well, no, we're paying 50% of each of those fees now to get it started. And then when it's up and running, we'll pay the other 50%. So there's a $6,000 annual subscription fee. I'm sorry, it's $12,000.
Yeah, $62.50 is the 50%.
Yeah. And then it's about a $20,000 implementation fee, and we're using gift funding for that.
Okay. Are they actually digitizing?
No, it's a
It's-
content management service. So
Oh, it's not digital materials, it's content management. Can you explain?
it creates a website that we can manage and upload information to on an ongoing basis. And it makes a nicer viewing experience for patrons. So they're not actually doing the digitizing, we're taking stuff that we've already digitized, and then we can digitize more going forward.
Okay, I understand that now.
When it's up and running, I should have
Oh, that's gonna be nice.
Crayley come in and give a demo.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That would be something that people could actually donate pictures or digitized items or things for local history and community. Okay.
It's one of the reasons that Laura really wanted to get it so badly is because we want the community to share these items with us, but it's so hard to let them know what we're doing with them because our archives and our local history is like squirreled away. So this will bring it out into the open, make it available on the web, so now we could say to somebody like, oh yeah, we could take that
Bring it
picture
in
and we can put it
yeah.
here in our
I think it's an
website.
excellent idea. I think people would really like to be a part of it. Yeah, that's great. Okay.
Thanks for asking. I had some of those same questions.
It's Joy, so thanks for asking.
Anything else on A? So B is, this is page 9 of our materials, so this is the budget, the year-to-date, this is 100% budget, so if you'll see there, we did on the total revenue side, we got 2% over the revenues, again, that's great, a lot of that was driven by those refunds, rebates for the insurance, which we don't control, but hey, it was great, take the money. But if you look down at the things we do control, the expenditures, you see on the facility side, personnel we came below, library services below, facilities below, and then look at other operating, we were less than half of our projected budget, which is all, I know that takes a lot of work, and I think the team did a really nice job of getting in that. You see travel is down, all the stuff we can control, I think our team did a wonderful job of doing, and I just wanted to make sure we saw that.
Thank you.
If you go forward a few pages, you'll see our investments, 6B, the 4.7% yield on our invested money, it's
Right.
wonderful. I
I know.
wish that I might call these guys.
I thought the
like that.
same thing.
Well, remember that
Yeah.
they're laddered, so he purchased them
Yes.
probably 6
Right.
months or a year
Yeah,
ago.
he did.
Yeah.
He has a little a little crystal ball.
I know, yeah.
Anything else on the budget or? Okay, so that takes us to a motion to approve, if I may, the remaining items on the consent agenda. Danny,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Hi.
Motion passed, wonderful. That takes us to the call of the public.
All right. Well, Kathy, we've heard from already. Katerina Yankee is an election specialist with Bloomfield Township, and she's here to support the new business item. So we'll talk to her in a few minutes. And Jane Bershey is with SOC, and this is her first meeting repping SOC.
Alright.
So welcome, Jane.
We don't haze you or anything. but-
Don't worry. I told her that I'm going to school like this.
I told her we had a secret handshake that was working.
Yeah, it's working.
Oh my gosh.
So then I give my report.
Yep.
Do you want to, yeah.
Alright, so, not sure all that you wanna know, but casualty donations that we received for March and April are going to go to the Inside Out Literacy Arts. And the ones we receive in May and June will go to the Johnson Nature Center Story Walk. In April, during National Library Week, we provided Staff Appreciation Day box lunches in the staff lounge. We plan to do bingo in May, and a summer staff market will happen in June. And a bottle drive is a potential event to help us fundraise. So we're thinking about that. And the only other thing is that we sent out a survey out to staff regarding the future of what was called the staff holiday party. So we're gonna rethink that and see what we can come up with.
All right,
Good.
Yeah, there's a new SOC who doesn't want that to die.
great.
Yes. Oh, great.
The bottle drive, this is bottles and cans, the tent. I'd rather bring them here than go to Kroger, so
Yes.
Yeah.
give us a
Ditto.
roll
We
on
will
that one.
gladly take them to Kroger for you.
Thanks, Jane.
Thank you and welcome.
Good job.
Is there a staff development day coming up?
Uh,
Oh, no, you moved it.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Right.
I should have put
November.
that in
That's
my
right, I forgot
report.
about
Yeah,
that.
we moved it to November.
Right.
So yeah.
Veterans Day, if I recall.
Uh-huh,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
All right. We're on to the township's request. All right. Well, I'll share share this, and you can chime in when you need to. So as you all know, we've served 3 elections as an early voting site, and we have knocked it out of the park. We did such a great job that the township would like us to consider being a regular voting day precinct polling location. The township is consolidating some precincts and looking at the community to see what are the most ideal precinct locations, and of course, we're one. For many, many reasons. We're very accessible, we're open 7 days a week, and I'm very supportive of supporting the township in this way. There were some pain points with the presidential election especially. Turnout was much greater than any of us anticipated. About 9,000 people voted here over those 9 days. So we did have some trouble with parking, and staff's customer service skills were really stretched to the brink because it was very trying at the welcome desk, especially with all the questions. But the township and the county clerk and the other clerks from the municipalities that we served have been listened to us and have suggested solutions. So I think that between some tweaks we will make, some tweaks that the township and the other election officials will make, I think we'll be okay. And really only the presidential election is gonna be the big busy ones. We've already reserved the community room for this day, the election day, because the township had to leave their equipment here anyway, so it's not a burden on our meeting room use. We found at this election that so many people used early voting and no reason absentee that barely anybody is voting on election day. The precincts are much smaller than the 75,000 people that we're drawing on for those 3 communities. So I passed out these precinct maps, which these are proposed precincts, but you can see that it varies from 4,000 to 1,500 voters, so it's a much smaller group of people over between, 8 a.m.
Yep, 8 a.m. to
9 p.m.
7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. So it'll be stretched out over a longer period of time too. Is there anything that I missed that you would like to add?
I can just add a couple things.
Yeah.
So the precinct that we would be looking to place here is our proposed precinct 5. And just a couple other statistics there for you guys. So in the February presidential election, you'd be looking at our primary election, you'd be looking at a turnout of 405 people all day for 13 hours. And then in the August primary, it would be 321 all day for 13 hours. So like Tara said, it really is just the big one, the presidential election, that you'd be seeing such a large turnout. And that's looking like 1,002 voters. And we've discussed certain things that we'd want to implement to make sure that it's not such a burden on you guys. It's really important. But we found that voters are so enthusiastic about using the library, and we have a really good opportunity here to make sure we're only offering the most efficient and effective places to host elections. And we really feel like this is an ideal location. So we'd appreciate it if you guys would do that.
Were there more precincts before or less?
We did have 18 precincts, and a new proposal passed in 22 that was proposal 2 that gave us 9 days of early voting. It also increased precinct boundary sizes. So we're going from 2,999 to 4,999, and the thinking behind that is that more voters would be utilizing the 9 days of early voting and absentee ballots, which we did see. 19% of the people that voted in November were voting early, and then 55% voted via absentee ballot, so only 26% of voters voted on Tuesday. Yeah, so we're looking at, consolidating, combining some of our precincts so that we're under that 5,000 threshold there. And since less people are voting on Tuesday, we really have less of a need for so many polling locations.
Yeah, and it saves the whole community.
Sure.
Yes.
You guys should put an article out in the Eagle, because I don't think this.
I'm sure they will, closer to.
So some of these proposed locations are still schools.
Some are. Yep, these are all just proposed.
Sure.
We're in talks with some other locations that aren't listed on this draft. We're just, because we're so new in the process, we're kind of holding back about putting them on here just yet.
Sure. I just bring that up because that usually means that schools will be closed.
On election day.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, right.
Mhm.
But especially if they're polling places.
It depends. They're not required to close. So sometimes, like in an August election, sometimes they close for November. But we wouldn't expect you guys to close operations if you're an election day polling location.
I just think we would expect higher volume on days that
Sure.
schools are not in session.
Oh, you mean in the library
Yeah.
in general? Okay,
But
yeah.
I think that this is fantastic.
Yeah,
I
me
would
too.
definitely be in favor of this.
Katerina, on here, there's 2 that are asterisks. Are those both polling here, or you said precinct 5? Cause I see precinct 10, which is the library.
Those were my asterisks from our meeting.
Yes, yep, so those are the places that we talked about. On the map there, the library is located within precinct 10,
Uh-huh,
but because precinct 10 is so much smaller than our proposed precinct 5,
uh-huh.
we were thinking that 5 might do better here just because there's more space to host a larger number of people.
Gotcha, so people who are in 10 wouldn't be voting here.
Nope, and that's not required. They don't have to, we have several precincts, so for instance, that far side of precinct 7, that's our old precinct 12, and they actually come all the way to Township campus to vote, and it's not technically in their precinct, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's not legally required for the polling location
To be in the precinct, okay.
Gotcha.
But you wanna make it as easy as possible for people to
Yeah.
get out and
We
vote.
certainly do, yeah, and of course we wanna make sure that the place is the most ideal for the crowd, so.
So yeah, those were the 2 precincts that they were considering, but you still have some work to do
Yes,
before everything is finalized.
we're still looking at it.
The purpose of tonight's meeting is just to get your approval, or not, your support of this, so that they can take this and then integrate the library into their plans.
Yeah, I appreciate it on the next page, you'll see that they're gonna have a full-time person here to answer questions on election day. I mean, I agree with Danny, I think, of course we will do, support this, right?
And I will say to the people who work there, cause I came 3 times, the line was just so long. They were wonderful, so nice and so informative, and I think Jane, you were working behind the counter when I finally got through. Yeah,
So,
there was a celebratory dance.
We should do a distracted librarian,
Post them.
something, yeah, going on, like maybe we make it fun for
I
people
got a lot
while
of
they
people to vote
wait.
for me when I started.
Oh, like
There you
like
go.
a man on the street interview
Yeah, that's kind of cute.
Yeah,
with gender neutral language.
Right.
yes,
So-
a person on the street.
Can I do the honor of reading this one?
Please.
Please do.
Okay, so I move that Bloomfield Township Public Library be an election day regular precinct polling location. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Wonderful.
There you go.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
You guys are awesome.
Thanks, Katerina.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you, Katerina. You don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting if you don't want to.
But you
Thank
can. And you can grab a cookie on the way out.
I do have 3 little ones at home.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for being here.
Of course.
Let me know if there's any follow-up or anything that we need to do.
Absolutely,
All right.
yes.
Thanks,
guys.
Katerina.
Bye.
Good evening. Bank signatories.
All right, bank signatories. It's so boring, but yet so much work. Anytime there's a change in library staff, especially the library director, assistant director, finance coordinator, any changes in the officers of trustees and at the township, we have to update all the signers on our bank accounts. And so what I need from you all tonight is, this is of course to add Kathy as a bank signer. That's the only change happening right now. And so there's a resolution included in the board packet here. On the next page, page 33, that lists all the people and all the bank accounts. I don't need anybody to read that, I just need you to read the action on page 32. And then I will get all the bank signers updated.
All right,
I
I'll go
can
ahead.
read it.
Yes, please.
Okay, I move to approve the resolution authorizing signatures, including facsimile signatures for banking services on behalf of Bloomfield Township Public Library as presented, effective April 22nd, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Great, thank you so much.
So next we go to the discussion of items removed, which hopefully we'll never do again, but I suggested we remove one.
Don't tempt us.
I know, so
Now they're just gonna
if
remove
you guys
something.
look at 28 and 29, these are the minutes of the Building and Grounds Committee that I alas wasn't at, and I apologize for that. But there was a discussion there about, in that second, if you look on page 29, the drainage improvement project.
Yes.
I would propose a change to what we've seen and then ask for a motion to approve these minutes, but the original language, one of the sentences says the township gave conditional approval for the detention basin, but the library would have to say it was being installed for aesthetic or learning. And then there was another sentence that said, Keith agreed it's good not to move forward with the basin if it can't name it the way it's intended. My proposal would be to change those two sentences to as follows. The township gave conditional approval for the detention basin on the northeast corner of the grounds, but only if installed for aesthetic or learning purposes. And then change it to say, Keith agreed it's good not to move forward with the basin if its use was restricted. And the thought is simply to more appropriately kind of acknowledge what actually happened. So with those changes, I would propose approval of those building and ground minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, that's.
Motion passed.
Are you ready? I guess she caught them. Okay, Lyndon's so good.
Shane sent that to us earlier in the day,
Oh,
so she's
okay.
got it.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're quickly at other, but. Anyone have any other? Joe?
I do.
Okay.
I think this is the appropriate place. First of all, I wanna say kudos on the circulation.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was
across the
exciting to
board,
see.
going up. So
Waiting.
I feel like that trend kind of went, ooh, which I really like. Going back to the Malcat discussion though, I know that we can't take a position or a side. I'm wondering if there are things that we can inform the public about which databases or which resources are part of Malcat, or if there's a way to talk about what's being used, because I feel like we maybe need to take into account if those go away, what's our exposure, and do we have to make some decisions before like July 1? I don't know when the budget year is for those. If we lose them and we wanna keep them, then we would be on the hook. Then aren't there some that are, we get a discounted rate to have? How would you propose, hypothetical, if these go away? I mean, there's kind of two sides that I'm suggesting here. One, I think a lot of people don't know. They know that some services may go away. My guess is Libby will go away, because we pay
That's part of
directly
our
for
full
Libby.
budget.
But Melcat borrowing will go away, potentially. I mean, it's a possibility. Is there something being discussed about libraries paying more into it to keep it? Again, hypothetical, I realize that. But the Michigan Electronic Library, a different story. Those will go away, potentially.
Potentially. Nobody knows right now, that's the problem. So Catherine and I have wrestled with this mightily about putting out some kind of statement. I know a lot of other libraries are doing that, but so much is unknown.
Right.
And there are conversations at TLN, at the Library of Michigan, around the state from the cooperatives about finding ways to ensure continuation of Melcat, I think is the priority, and the databases and the training that's offered too. So it's very unknown right now. And I don't think that it's worth muddying the waters and trying to tell patrons what's going on in that regard until something actually happens.
Well, you're right, it isn't really our story to tell, except I think people are kind of, I think they're interested.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we have a different perspective because we're in the midst of it, but, I just wonder if there's an opportunity at the same time to talk about some resources that we have people aren't as aware of.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe we could keep by getting somebody to sponsor it. Maybe there's a business that would sponsor a business database, or I'm just kind of throwing that.
We have an extremely healthy database budget, and I've talked to Laura Crayley about this a little bit, and she has her eye already on things that she would cut in order to keep some of those other databases.
I should have known.
So I think we're all just waiting to see how it actually plays out, and then we can make decisions. As far as from what I understand, this funding is good through September of this year.
Okay, so you think their budget, like from Mel,
Yes,
or Mel?
from the state of Michigan, yeah.
Okay,
So it starts October first.
okay. Well, that gives us a bigger runway than I thought we had.
Yeah, it's not July.
Okay.
Is that their federal government's? I think.
No, I revolve around academics,
Okay.
so that's probably why I'm
You're thinking July.
that. Yeah, but, yeah. Okay. It's top of mind for me, and I think because I see so much of this going on in the conversation, that I was wondering if there was a way to inform the public about some of the things that we have. You know, we've talked about this, ways that they can see what we do have. But maybe that should be done also in conjunction with how Laura's looking at usage for each of the databases. Probably a good opportunity for that.
It's a good thing for the marketing committee to maybe take a stab at. I know of one of our former librarians who managed the databases had a database of the month and tried to highlight, the different databases, so we can do things like that.
You could also get in touch with Oakland County because they do have a newsletter that goes out and they represent all of the libraries, so and all the people who attend those libraries, so they could always do something. And also our legislator, any of our legislators, they could at least put you on the radar, and when there's news coming down that they'll hear first before we do, so that we're interested in that. So
Speaking of legislators, I was gonna mention that Catherine is going to the MLA Advocacy Day,
cool.
which is
you
next
are.
week, so she'll be talking to
Up
our
to
state
Lansing?
reps.
Good. Is that in Lansing?
Yep, so the Michigan Library Association puts together this Library Advocacy Day each year where people from libraries all over the state go. And they typically have like a concerted effort towards one single ask. And
Sure.
the ask this year will be for state funding for MELCAT and the MEL databases
Good.
versus the federal funding that's been received in the
Good.
past. So that is the message. All of the state senators and representatives will hear from us next Wednesday. So yeah, there are people working to make sure that these services continue.
Is there a sense of what percentage our spend would be affected? Somewhere in my head it's like 3%, but I don't know if that was a Michigan number or.
I think we talked about that last.
Like how our spend would be affected if Melcat went away?
I don't. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. But we did talk about how it would be the amount of our budget. I thought we talked about this last month.
We did.
Or was that at
Couple
with
months ago.
building and grounds? Did we?
I don't know, but I
Somehow?
remember, yeah, because
Because I think you
the
said
smaller
something like
libraries would be much
Rural
more.
libraries
4%.
would be much
I-
more effective.
Yes.
I don't remember a percentage.
We lend out significantly more than our patrons receive in,
Yeah.
and our budget would probably be sufficient to
Yeah,
provide many
to
of those
provide.
books that people are requesting. Not every single one, but many. But yeah, a lot of smaller libraries depend more heavily on the MELCAT
Right.
service.
Do they send a list of attendees before the conference? So I'm just curious how many libraries in Oakland County will be represented there.
I don't have a list broken down like that.
Okay, because it would be interesting. Okay.
They actually have,
Do you wanna go?
No, but I'm thinking,
We can
no,
very well.
but I'm thinking of Franklin, which is a very small library, and I don't know that they have the staff to take a full day off, so I'm just
They
curious if they have a
have
volunteer.
me at least visiting the state representatives for the district that I live in
Okay,
versus where I work, which for me is different.
yeah,
So I'm not sure exactly how that's
Okay.
going to shake out overall.
gotcha.
And I
But
think
thank you
next
for
month
asking.
there's a
I kinda
office hours with some of
You
the
just wanted
Yes.
to get out of
local
work.
state representatives to this area being held here at our library. So if anybody wants to have that conversation with them, there they can too.
Anyone else?
Do you know what day that is?
Do we,
I think
Is it like the town hall?
I think it might
You wanna look that
May
up after the
5th?
meeting?
Moss is
I'm not sure.
doing?
it is.
Okay. And it's here. Oh,
quick
alright, I must have-
question, I didn't recall on the spaces, were we going to have a maker space and
It's not decided.
a library of things, what do we call it?
Currently there's no space devoted to a maker space. And we talked about maybe having some equipment around, but I don't know if we'll have a space that we call a maker space.
Okay,
We talked about having an adaptive.
Yeah.
Adaptive might be the wrong
Okay.
word, but a space that could accommodate a variety of activities and programming versus a library of, let's say, tools or seeds or that kind of idea.
okay. I was with a distant relative, a number of distant relatives on Easter, and their library had e-bikes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought that was.
We're in such a,
We need 400 of them.
I was gonna say,
I know, well,
we're
that's.
in such a dangerous
The
corner too.
library, their library
That's very true.
must be
Yeah.
small.
You might put it out to like-
They're in-
His is the most dangerous.
They're in southeastern Ohio near West Virginia. I believe the library only had 2,
Oh,
but they're going to get more. I thought that was interesting, I never heard of a library.
Pepperdine has surfboards you can.
You
I'm
have
responsible for collecting them.
Oh, I was.
Unicycles, let's be different.
Danny?
Just wondering how things are with the new vending company.
They're fine.
Oh,
They're fine. Like, it's fine.
Okay.
I just got a phone call today from a guy who was like, hi, I'm wondering, I have vending services, can I get into your?
If you only knew.
It's fine.
I saw
Great,
someone
no
getting
problem,
coffee
that's
and he
good.
wasn't complaining.
Don't forget the Friends annual meeting is tomorrow, but you had to RSVP by last week.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will be in attendance.
They did make $5,800 at their last.
Oh, good. Oh, Keith is now the new rep.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that is good.
I will be in attendance.
Good. Is anyone else going?
yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Great.
So Danny and I will be attending.
Great.
And Danny and I were also at the volunteer reception, which
Mhm.
was lovely.
I don't remember getting any.
Marty always does a great job with that.
17.
I don't think I got anything.
Anybody have anything else?
And happy anniversary to Shane.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, so here's the
oh yeah, I
thing.
forgot.
Turns out, my anniversary was last week.
Oh my gosh.
I knew that. I just thought this meeting was last week, so I got a little
This
confused.
confuses everybody.
You
This
got
one
my, you
confuses
did get my
everybody.
email, right? That I
I
sent you?
did, that was very
Okay.
curious.
Yes, because
I have
that's what.
something to show you once the camera goes off in regards to that one, but
So did you
After the
have a
cameras
nice-
are off.
once the camera's off, I'll give you the whole story.
Okay.
Excellent.
So I would move to adjourn the meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Second.